Oh, healthcare. What should people be concerned about with healthcare? I don't know. Is this thing going down? Is this fucking thing going down? It looks like we're having progress finally on this fucking thing. That's good. That's good. Not enough since yesterday, but maybe tomorrow we'll be able to get this son of a bitch done. Alright. Take a shower nice and early in the morning and then, oh, that reminds me. This is gonna sting. Not about that. Healthcare, needle exchange. I just mentioned it at the end of the West Wing episode. We didn't talk about it in this. Yikes! Stingy with rubbing alcohol. It's always stingy. But, it's just what it is. See, and that's the reason that I'm like, I'm gonna wait a little bit, take a shower. I prefer to take kind of hot showers, but this being what it is, when I do take a shower, this first one is gonna be just warm enough to be warm. Which sucks, by the way, as I like them to be, well, kind of hot. Alright. There we go. That should be good. Put some of this goober stuff on there. Antibiotic cream. So speaking of that needle exchange, that's healthcare. Now, when we finally get into this universal healthcare that we desperately so need, see, we've been talking as a nation about universal healthcare for a while, and the discussion is getting more and more heated. So, as a country, hold on, this has to be kind of targeted as I put this fucking Band-Aid on here. As a country, we need to start talking about the particulars. We'll be right back. As a country, we need to start talking about the particulars of this, some of the nuances involved. So, I want to kind of briefly mention just some of the nuances in particular, one being needle exchange. People will be concerned with things like that. things that are perceived as not healthcare issues, but things of not questions of healthcare, but questions of morality, like abortions, like whether the government, because it's going to end up, it's basically going to be government healthcare, whether the government should pay for trans people to be trans people. Um, even AIDS medication. Because they'd be like, well, people get AIDS from having homosexual sex. There are going to be those people out there. All of those kinds of questions isn't the right way to say it. All those kinds of arguments are going to be brought up as they are the moral framing of the argument are going to be brought up. And we're going to have to start swatting that shit away. So we have to be prepared for that. Just be aware. We're gonna have to bat that shit away. I think people should be. Some people can try to counter arguments and stuff like that. I think the better way to counter that argument is when someone brings that argument up, you can just say, I'm sorry, I don't debate fools. Plain and simple. I don't debate fools. I don't argue with fools. I don't talk to idiots. Because that's an idiot argument. That kind of argument, that flavor of argument is a diversionary tactic, a distraction. I believe the term for that is red herring. I don't know for sure, but I believe that's what that is called. So you can just get rid of that right off the bat as something that is just, it's just a poo type thing. The other thing is, and here's something that needs to be addressed and acknowledged. I think private insurance companies are heavily diversified into and invested in a lot of other companies. So when it looks like they are functionally being put out of business by the government taking over their business, big chunks of the rest of the American economy are probably going to take a hit. So people, economists, market analysts, whatever, are going to have to figure out what to do about that. If anything, I don't know. Because that might even just be a non-issue. I don't know. Maybe it'll be something that you don't even have to worry about. Those companies may be heavily invested in hedge funds and stuff, or maybe it will be something that only rich people are invested in. I don't know. It's kind of a similar problem where government needs to start outlawing private prisons. The privatized prison sector needs to start getting out of. It needs to start, you know, whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. I don't want to go too much off on a tangent. So yeah, there's going to be many things that need to be looked at, and also a big part of um, the universal healthcare system is money that's put into healthcare will have to be uh, it will either have to be, how do I put this? What is a good way to phrase this? Healthcare money will have to be spent on money for money spent on um, eliminating food deserts, for example, and money spent on social services and, for example, uh, cleaning up lead in schools. And could use it for that purpose because that causes health problems downstream. Fixing lead paint. So you can use it for that too. Because I know that's not direct, that doesn't cause direct health problems, but it does 5 years, 10 years from now. So shit like that. And the money given out to police departments, we maybe can mandate or we can strongly suggest that federal money given to state and local police departments is used for not buying APCs and new guns and stuff, but de-escalation and community involvement, that sort of thing. And also diverted to social welfare programs. And maybe even because I've seen YouTube things about the I forget how he phrased it, but the problem with young men and stuff, not because they're single, they don't have good jobs, they feel lonely and all that stuff. The money for health, the money for police, the money for all that stuff, we can start funding men's centers, kind of like the YMCA, but not as lame. I don't know. I don't know how to put it other than that. But men's clubs that are not just gyms, are not just places where you go to work out, but are men's clubs where you go and you just, it's like a bar, but there's no alcohol. You just go and hang out. It's men's club for people of like my age. There you go, you talk, there are couches and stuff. Maybe you can smoke. I don't know. It probably, since there'd be federal funding, you probably wouldn't be able to smoke, but maybe you're able to smoke in the field that's next door to the men's club because it's Jerry's property or something. I don't know. Because let's face it, men my age fucking smoke, and who gives a shit? Bob's a cop, and technically he could arrest you, but he doesn't care, and he's smoking with you. So I'm talking about cigs, by the way. And just having something like that in every town, township, whatever, giving guys a place to be guys, and and not gangsters, helps out. All of these things can be good for health, and also on top of that, it gives us a place as middle-aged men to talk to other middle-aged men and network, because we don't have that anymore. We just don't have that anymore. We used to have that. We used to have places where we could go and just meet random guys and network. And I don't know about you, but only place we have that is in the workplace or in bars or from friends past. But now, guys, people are moving from city to city, as I have, and I don't know anybody. So what am I supposed to do? Go to a bar? Well, I don't drink anymore. So if you did something good for your life and you stop drinking, the only place you have to go is go to a gym. Well, I don't want to fucking go to a gym and exercise. So what am I supposed to do? Go online and become a groyper? Start hating women ridiculously much? I don't want to do that either. So I don't know what choice I have. We need places as men where we can go and you just, talk about stuff. Maybe we'll have some video game consoles there or something. That's being a man. Um, have a have a boxing bag or something. I don't know. Something to hit. Hey, I'm in the South. I've never shot a gun before. It'd be nice to be able to shoot a gun. I'm sure in the South. I mean, it's a small town. I could probably shoot a gun at something in a small town without getting too much attention. So maybe in a bigger city that would be a problem, but around here, I don't know. Anyways, just some ideas float. So I'm gonna go back to watching TV. I gotta find something else to eat, snack on. That's what I can snack on. Tax rich people, kneecap the rich people, boobs. What was this about? Oh, right, there we go. That's what I'm gonna name it. Boobs, boobs, boobs.